This video is going to be about Albert Pike, his book Morals and Dogma, and a little bit about Freemasonry. Alright, so the topic of this video is going to be about Albert Pike, his book, the book that he made, which was called Morals and Dogma, and of course a little bit more about Freemasonry. So the topic of this video is going to be about Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma, the book that Morals and Dogma is a book that was made sort of by Albert Pike. Well, obviously a couple other people might have been involved as well. And obviously I'm going to talk a little bit more about Freemasonry in this video. So yeah, because you know, Freemasonry is it's kind of like a theme on my channel that I do talk about Freemasonry on my channel a lot. Because I do believe that the Freemasons are not just, they're not just a gentleman's club. The Freemasons are very sinister. They're there's something that's very serious and stuff like that. They're very serious. And so for the Freemasons, they're not just a gentleman's club. The Freemasonry and stuff like that. Freemasons, they're not just a gentleman's club. Whoa, look at that cool car. The Freemasons are not just a gentleman's club, like so many naive people would like to believe. They are very sinister. The Freemasons, I believe, are behind a lot of different types of conspiracies in our world. And I do believe the Freemasons are pulling the strings of our society in so many different ways, in my opinion, at least from a lot of the research that I've kind of dug into and stuff a little bit. But you know, Albert Pike and Morals and Dogma, because I actually have a copy of Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma. This is like a very original classic type copy. If you can see it. Can you see that? The cover art has like this this sort of eagle, double-headed eagle with the 33 insignia and Ordo ab Chos Deus. Yes, like a lot of complex stuff. And you can kind of take a little look-see. You can see Morals and Dogma, Ancient and Accepted Right, Sovereign Jurisdiction USA. This copy, this is like Albert Pike's books. Here's the former author, Harold Oscar Chapin. There's like his address where he used to live to. Raised March 1934. Wow, 1934. This is like a copy of Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma. And it's 1934 is when this is from. What time this is from? This is from 1934, I believe. I don't know if that's when this book was made or I don't know. It's probably the guy's date. Oh, you can tell like these pages. The pages are all yellow as well. Insane. We kind of dig more into it. There's a picture of Albert Pike when he was like a little bit older. Here's his name, Albert Pike. Very old. He looks very old and rusted and out and stuff, and very scary as well a little bit. Very sinister looking guy. Here's a picture of him when he was super old. Morals and Dogma of the Ancient and Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, prepared for the Supreme Council of the 33rd degree for the sovereign jurisdiction of the United States and published by its authority, Charleston A&M. A bunch of other details. There's a couple other pages. I'll show you some more pages. The preface. I'm not going to keep digging into this. Okay, here's actually like, it shows you like sort of like the hierarchy in Freemasonry. So you have like the Blue Lodge, Apprentice, Fellowcraft. Then you have Lodge of Perfection. So all these different degrees, all the way to 32. A bunch of different things. Morals and Dogma, Apprentice. Very interesting. There we go. I wonder if there's any more graphical illustrations. I don't want to like waste more time on showing you pages of this book called Morals and Dogma. There we are. So that book, Morals and Dogma, is a book that was made by Albert Pike, supposedly anyway. And I already showed you a little bit about Albert Pike, show you like that old picture of him. Shall I show you the picture of him again? Or I'll show you it again. I'll open the book up because I don't know, it's kind of funny. There we are. Here's the page of him. Here's the page of Albert Pike. Here's like a picture of Albert Pike when he was very old and rusted. Anyway, so what's all of this about? Why am I showing you like all this stuff about this book called Morals and Dogma? Why am I even bringing this up? Why am I talking about it? Why am I showing you pages of this book? Because this book is very important. It's probably like, this book is like a cornerstone of Freemasonry. Like if you want to really know a little bit about Freemasonry, you got to buy and look into this book called Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. It's very important literary work in Freemasonry. And obviously Freemasonry is such a hard, it's so difficult to attempt to summarize Freemasonry, to even try and attempt to like, for me to attempt to tell you like what Freemasonry is about. It's so, everything about Freemasonry is so secretive and cryptic and stuff, and very difficult to understand all the nitty-gritty details. It's nearly impossible to understand Freemasonry properly, unless of course you're inside of this type of fraternal organization and you're like a very high-ranking Freemason or something similar, and you know all like the ins and outs of Freemasonry. You know everything about that organization. For me, it's like I'm just an outsider. I don't know anything about this fraternal organization. Obviously, though, you can do some like basic level, cursory level research, and you can like go onto Google, and you can go onto the Wikipedia page of Freemasonry. Freemasonry. You can go onto Google, and you can go onto the Wikipedia page, and yeah, and you can kind of. Here we go. Freemasonry or Masonry refers to fraternal organizations that trace their origins to the local guilds of stonemasons that, from the end of the 13th century, regulated the qualifications of stonemasons and their interaction with authorities and clients. Modern Freemasonry broadly consists of two main recognition groups. Regular Freemasonry insists that a volume of scripture be open in a working lodge, that every member profess belief in a supreme being, that no women be admitted, and that the discussion of religion and politics not take place within the lodge. Continental Freemasonry consists of the jurisdictions that have removed some or all of these restrictions. So okay, that's a mouthful. Supposedly, if you want to do like basic level, cursory level research onto Freemasonry, you might type in Freemasonry onto Google and you'll find the Wikipedia page. And if you go onto the Wikipedia page, it basically says that Freemasonry is basically in the Middle Ages, in the medieval period, in the medieval times. There was a bunch of stonemasons and stuff. They had like these little guilds and these little types of clubs that they were making together, these stonemasons. And modern Freemasonry goes back to these stonemasons and stuff, and they created like a bunch of these different types of traditions that have been passed on to like modern Freemasonry and stuff. All of like Freemasonry goes back to these stonemasons in the Middle Ages and stuff like that. Hence why the compass and square and all these like different, a lot of the symbolism of Freemasonry, supposedly it's about like how the stonemasons, their tools and stuff like that they used, and that's why they have aprons as well. I don't know. The Wikipedia page, if you trust that Wikipedia page, if you like, because like once you attempt to like research about Freemasonry, you're probably going to go into Google and type in Freemasonry, or you're going to come across the Wikipedia page about Freemasonry, and it's going to give you like this impression that it's just like a fraternal organization. It's basically just a gentleman's club where old people come together and talk about their problems. That's like, if you only go onto the surface, like this is like all surface level. This is like all surface level type stuff. You're not going to know the nitty gritty details of Freemasonry just by going onto Google and typing in Freemasonry and reading through the Wikipedia page. That's only going to give you like a surface level understanding about this very sinister, very quite dark, very dark organization. In my opinion, I believe Freemasonry is very sinister. The Freemasons are very sinister people. That's why they're secretive. That's why they have to conceal themselves, and that's why they have to keep secrets. Why the need for secrecy then? Think about it intellectually, like rationally. Why the need for secrecy? To me, it doesn't make any sense. Because if the Freemasons were all benevolent and whatever, obviously they have their own types of explanations for why they have to keep secrets. Because I know in the Middle Ages and stuff, it was very if you said anything against the church or against the religious authorities and religious people and stuff like that, you would get like kind of you would almost get like lynched and stuff. So and that's why in the Middle Ages the Freemasons were very secretive and stuff, and they had to like conceal themselves. But to me, it's just kind of like, especially in the modern age, the fact that the Freemasons are still very secretive is kind of bizarre to me. It kind of just suggests that the Freemasons, there was something very sinister going on with them. they're secretive because they're kind of they're two-faced. They're hiding something and stuff like that. In my opinion, they're two-faced, and blah blah blah. They're not trustworthy in that way. You know what I mean? The Freemasons are two-faced. Because if you go again, if you do like a very surface level like research, if you only like do basic if you cursory level research onto the Freemasons, you perhaps might go onto Google and you'll go onto the Wikipedia page about Freemasonry and stuff. You'll do like all that surface level like research onto them. That's not going to get you anywhere. You're just going to be led astray. I believe you look at this Wikipedia page. It kind of tells you a little bit about the Freemasons, Masonic lodges. It tells you all about the little, in all the small details, Grand Lodge recognition, regularity, other degrees and orders, rituals and symbolism, origins. Since the middle of the 19th century, Masonic historians have sought the origins of the movement in a series of similar documents known as the Old Charges, dating from the Regius poem in about 1425 to the beginning of the 18th century, alluding to the membership of a lodge of operative Masons. They related to a mythologized history of the craft, the duties of its grades, and the manner in which oaths of fidelity are to be taken on joining. The 15th century also sees the first evidence of ceremonial regalia. There is no clear mechanism by which these local trade organizations became today's Masonic lodges. The earliest rituals and passwords known from operative lodges around the turn of the 17th, 18th centuries show continuity with the rituals developed in the later 18th century by accepted or speculative Masons, as those members who did not practice the physical craft gradually came to be known. The minutes of the Lodge of Edinburgh in Scotland shows a continuity from an operative lodge in 1598 to a modern speculative lodge. It is reputed to be the oldest Masonic lodge in the world. Yep. Alternatively, Thomas D. Quincy, in his work titled Rosicrucians and Freemasonry, put forward the theory that suggested that Freemasonry may have been an outgrowth of Rosicrucianism. The theory had also been postulated in 1803 by German professor J.G. Buhuli. Okay, so that's like a mouthful. Basically, we don't even know where Freemasonry originates from. Even the Wikipedia page, like if you go into Google and you like try and attempt to do basic level research and like surface level research onto Freemasonry, you go on the Wikipedia page, you read through that. Even the Wikipedia page has no clue about like the true origins of Freemasonry. Like even the Wikipedia, I was literally reading like the Wikipedia page about Freemasonry. It's telling us that they don't have any clue about like where the Freemasons come from, what their actual true origins are. Obviously, I read the first paragraph. It said that the Freemasons, they originate from stone guilds and stuff like that. Like in the Middle Ages, there were a bunch of like stone masons, people like literally stone masons that used to work with stone and be cathedral builders or something similar, and that's where the Freemasons come from. But even in the same like thing, it's literally saying here that it's all speculative. There is no clear mechanism. In another paragraph on the Wikipedia page, it's literally telling us that we don't even know like the true origins of Freemasonry. So it's all speculative. All the history of Freemasonry is speculative. We don't know when the Freemasons began their organization. That's so insane. That we don't have any type of true history and proper documentation of the Freemasons and where they come from and what they're about. That's insane. And that's literally, it says that on the Wikipedia page. And I believe that, again, this surface level research, that's not going to get you very far. You would literally have to, if you want to properly understand Freemasonry, you would have to become a Freemason, and you would have to climb the ranks and become the top ranking Freemason and stuff, and then you'll get all the nitty gritty details. In my opinion, the Freemasons are very, very, very sinister. That's why they keep secrets. Why would they have to keep secrets then? It's stupid. I believe they're pulling the strings of our society. I believe they're behind a lot of things in our world. They're not just a gentleman's club. Think about it, the founding fathers of America were Freemasons. So many important people were Freemasons. That's not a gentleman's club, you dumbass. Anyway, look at this. I got this other book. This other book is called Who Was Hiram Abiff? Who Was Hiram Abiff? Hiram Abiff is basically he's like a very important figure in Freemasonry, like a person that sort of supposedly existed. Obviously, we don't really know about anything. We don't really know anything about this guy. Here's like a book. Who was Hiram Abiff? Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to kind of ruin this book. I'll probably put it on the table. Who was Hiram Abiff? There we are, a bunch of different list of illustrations. Yep. Who was Hiram Abiff? Every thoughtful Mason must have asked himself the above question time after time. To most, it will be clear that the legend has a striking affinity to the theme of the ancient mysteries, and students have usually compared it with the legend of Osiris in ancient Egypt. To the author, however, it seems a mistake to go to Egypt to find the origin of our legend, when the ritual itself indicates Palestine in the Near East as the true source whence it is derived. The very fact that the Bible, as we now have it, makes hardly any reference to the chief character in our temple legend and gives barely a hint of any tragedy is alone sufficient to show that whatever be the case with other parts of our ritual, the legend itself was not derived from any extant version of the scriptures known to Englishmen in the 18th century. The obvious field for research is therefore Palestine, not Egypt, and we must study not only the Jewish records as set forth in the Bible, but also profane history and the beliefs and customs of the heterogeneous group of races who inhabited Syria and Asia Minor at the period of the building of the first temple and during subsequent ages. By the time my readers have finished this work, they will, I trust, have realized that Hiram Abiff is a far more tragic figure than even our legend represents. He stands for something greater, vaster, nobler, and more terrible than a mere man of honor who, rather than betray his sacred trust, laid down his life. As the story unfolds, my readers will perceive that we are spiritual eyewitnesses of a vast, soul-shaking tragedy whose grim and all-embracing character reveals the unplumbed depths of cruelty and folly from which, in the course of ages, mankind has slowly emerged, guided by that light which is from above. Hiram indeed may be a real man of flesh and blood, who, like thousands before and after him, has been sacrificed in the false belief that thereby the corn will be made to grow and the building to stand firm forever. Before and after him has been sacrificed in the false belief that thereby the corn will be made to grow and the building to stand firm forever. One of that long line of prophets. I'm messing it up. One of that long line of prophets, priests, and kings whose blood has stained the flower bespangled earth, that the great mother may be fruitful. One of that long line of prophets, priests, and kings whose blood has stained the flower bespangled earth, that the great mother may be fruitful. And it's a mouthful. Anyway, so basically that's like a mouthful and so cryptic and hard to understand what that means. I don't even know anymore. So Hiram Abiff is a very important figure. I can't even tell you anything about him. If you go into the Wikipedia page, Hiram Abiff is a very important figure in Freemasonry. Hiram Abiff. The Masonic legend. The tale of Hiram Abiff has passed on Masonic my nose. The tale of Hiram Abiff, as passed down in Masonic lodges, underpins the third degree. It starts with his arrival in Jerusalem and his appointment by Solomon as chief architect and master of works at the construction of his temple. As the temple is nearing completion, 3 fellow craft masons from the workforce ambush him, and as he leaves the building, demanding the secrets of a master mason, Hiram is challenged by each in turn, and at each refusal to divulge the information, his assailants strike him with a mason's tool. Differing between jurisdictions, he is injured by the first 2 assailants and struck dead by the last. Basically, Hiram Abiff was like a worker at Solomon's temple and stuff. He was like a builder, or I don't know, he was like a very important person in Solomon's temple, and he was like some type of master of sorts, and he had like very important information on him, and 3 assailants came to him and they wanted to take that information from him, and they started to assault him, and they won one of them, and they beating him until one of the 3 assailants killed him and stuff. And that's this type of legend of Hiram Abiff. Obviously, this could all be allegorical and metaphorical. It's so cryptic. And I was reading the Wikipedia page, and you can do your own research. You could go through the Wikipedia pages on Freemasonry, on Hiram Abiff, and of course Albert Pike. You know, Albert Pike is very important as well. Albert Pike. Albert Pike. Here he is. There's Albert Pike. There he is. There's Albert Pike. And blah 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 blah. He was like a very Yep. I don't want to read too much about his life. You can kind of do some research on it. The reason Albert Pike is so important is because he's like very he's so important to Freemasonry because he was like a very high-ranking member and stuff, and he kind of pushed that organization in a lot of different ways. Anyway, Albert Pike also he said a lot of interesting things, made a bunch of different predictions. I'll put them on the screen right now. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists and something similar, and he said a bunch of other things like that. It'll be on the screen. Do some research onto Albert Pike. You can go onto his Wikipedia page and read about him. Obviously, I believe that's just all surface level stuff. I don't think you're gonna have any true clue about the guy's life just by going on the Wikipedia page and reading about him. But anyway, this video is kind of getting too long, but you know, Morals and Dogma and Freemasonry and Albert Pike, Freemasonry, Morals and Dogma, very, very important stuff. The Freemasons are very sinister. I believe they're behind a lot of different conspiracies in our world. I believe they're pulling the strings of everything behind the scenes and stuff of our society. They're pulling the strings and doing all these sorts of things are sinister and evil. Of course, we'll never know properly about them. We'll never know who they actually are and what they stand for and stuff. You would have to you can't just go onto Wikipedia and read about them or go onto Google and do some research about them. You would have to actually infiltrate this organization and get to the top and quickly see everything for yourself. I don't know, but this is all speculative. I just want to kind of show you some of the books that I have about the Freemasons. I actually bought this for a lot of money. This Morals and Dogma book. Look at it, so old and rustic. I actually bought that book. Yeah, I just wanted to show you a little bit about it. Yeah. Anyway. I'll show you a little bit more. Let me see if I can turn. Well, it's getting too dark. Great, the light's flickering. Look at my face, it's so weird. The light is flickering. Oh. Look at that. Very cool. That's about it.